Welcome everyone to Lebanon Legends Podcast, Lebanon's first ever podcast where we give spotlight to prior Lebanon Cedar greats. Now, here's our host, Alec Wolf.
Welcome everybody to Lebanon High School's first ever podcast, Lebanon Legends, where we talk with some of our very own legends from back in their day, shine some light on their achievements and pick their brains for what it takes to be great. I'm Alec Wolf, and I'm with
Manuel Martinez.
We're excited to talk with this Lebanon legend, Mr. Tim Speraw, about what he did during his time in high school, what his training was, and what he did after high school. Hope you enjoyed. Let's get into it. First question: when you played as a Lebanon Cedar, how was your team? Like the work ethic, the success of the team, and what you did to help with the success of the team.
All right. So in terms of basketball, I think we finished 22-6. We won our section. We lost in the league championship, and we lost in the district Final Four. We also played a state game in the state playoffs. So very successful season. I think one of the things I remember most was we didn't have any returning starters. So all of our starters graduated. We had two 1,000-point scorers right before us, and they graduated. So coming in, it was all new. Everyone thought that we were going to just be another team that wasn't very good. And we ended up, we beat some very good teams. We beat an NBA player, Rip Hamilton. We played his team, and we thrived off of each other. I think our biggest thing was just our teamwork together. And in terms of our work ethic, we just played together all the time. Like, we were at playgrounds every day in the summer. There was no day where we weren't going and playing somewhere, whether it be South 6th Street, Walnut Street, South Hills, wherever we could find a game, we were going to play. And that's just what we did.
So what were some of the key players that you played with that helped with your succce?
What
year did you graduate?
I graduated in '95. Our point guard was Matt Spiker. Little, skinny, about 5'9", 5'10", but could just shoot the lights out. Was just a great point guard to play with. We had two big guys. We had a 6'6" and a 6'5" kid. Ross Young and Paul Watts, and then rounded out our starting five was a kid named Joe Solaski, who was just very athletic. He was one of our defensive stoppers, and then we had a good bench. We had a lot of guys that could come in and play roles when we had to sit.
How did you lead your team?
I led my team. I was a captain on our team, and I think that I was kind of a glue guy. Like, I always felt like I was just going to do whatever the team needed. If that meant stepping up defensively, I was probably more of a three-point shooter, but I was also one of our better passers. So I think I led the team in assists, and I wanted to make sure that the big guys were happy because they were always doing all the dirty work, but also just try to step up, make big shots, and try to do whatever the coach wanted. I was kind of the coach on the floor for our group. So just be the glue guy and do whatever the coach needed.
So who was your coach, and how did he help you thrive as a basketball player and as a person?
So my coach was Coach John Barnhard, legendary coach. He's still the all-time winningest coach here at Lebanon on the boys' side. And he was a great preparation coach. He just always had us ready to go. Knew everything about the other team going into a game, and just always prepared us incredibly well. He was a very good mentor to me. One of the reasons that I got into coaching then as well.
I have a question. How many of people that you played with went to college later after high school? Do you know?
That I played with a bunch. There was a couple my sophomore year. There was one or two guys that went on to play in college. My junior year, the two kids that scored 1,000 points, they both went on to play, and then two of the guys that I played with also went on to play. So just in that 3-year span, I'd say about 6 or 7 guys.
Did you play in college yourself?
I played my first year. I went to Albright College, but then unfortunately just had some issues. I dropped out my second semester of college. And actually didn't go back to school for like 3 years. And then when I went back, I just decided to to focus on my studies and my schoolwork. So I didn't play when I went back to school.
So while you played, what was the not the work ethic, what was the difference between college and high school basketball?
Difference between college and high school, I think, is college, it becomes a part-time job. Like your workouts are 6 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes we had 5:30 workouts. And if you're not there, you're in trouble. You're running, you have extra conditioning, and you just kind of get pushed down the list of players. So you got to be there at 6. You do your lift, you do your workout, your skill workout, and then if there's time before you have to go to your classes, then we would run 5-on-5 and until people had to start leaving. But then we had study halls in the afternoon, and then workouts again at night. So it turns into, when you're in college and you play a major sport, it turns into a part-time job, if not a full-time job.
So, another question. How was your team when you were playing compared to the team you watch now?
I know the team that I played on, we definitely just had more size. Like I said, we had a 6'6", a 6'5". I was 6 foot in high school, so I was a 6 foot guard, and our forward was 6'2". So we definitely had some more size, but I know now kids are athletic. They're super athletic, so I wouldn't consider myself super athletic, but I was athletic enough to be able to play.
What is the mindset that motivated you and woke you up about high school ball, even in just your life?
I'd say just growing up through the Biddy program. You just going to games as a kid and just watching people play. I can remember going and seeing teams from Philly come to the tip-off tournament and just, getting to know those guys while they were here as I was a 8, 9, 10-year-old. Going to watch people like Corey Thomas play, the older Coletti brothers, and just knowing that one day I wanted to be on that court and I wanted to hit the big shot, like things like that. I just thought that was something growing up as a kid in Lebanon. You just always wanted to play on that court and be in front of the fans.
Do you feel as if the teams now are softer and have less work ethic than when you played?
It's a great question. I don't know that I can necessarily answer that for like this year's team or last year's team because I'm not with them every day or coaching them every day. I'd say the teams that the most recent teams that I coached at the high school level, I'd say it was similar. I'd say there was definitely a toughness about the Lebanon kids. It's one of the reasons that I loved coaching here was just always having those kids that came up that were just tough and gritty, and I think it's been like that for as long as I can remember. So I'd say in that sense it's definitely similar.
Did you have a lot of size when you coached? Like when you coached your team?
No. So I was the head coach for 12 years. I think I had one 6'5" kid, and a couple, maybe a 6'4", maybe one 6'3", and that's in 12 years of coaching. So we never really had a ton of size. I think we had maybe 3 kind of big men that I could say were guys that could just get down in the post and really grind in and play. But overall, we didn't really have a lot of size.
What were some of your favorite moments as a coach throughout the years?
Favorite moments? There's so many. I'd just say every group is special. Yeah. I can look back at seniors of every group, and every group is special. And then there's some that you just seem to spend a lot more time with.
Do you still connect with some of your players?
I connect with a lot of players, yeah. We're always texting. We got group chats. We try to get together when we can. I'm hoping that over the holiday break coming up that we get together with people. But it's nice to see a lot of them. A lot of them now are getting in relationships. They're having babies, things like that. So, I definitely stay in contact with a lot of them, and that's the best part of it. You know, the wins and losses, you'll forget about those at times, but the relationships are going to last.
Do you feel as if having a really good relationship with players is key to success?
Yeah, absolutely. If your players don't trust you and you don't trust your players, unless you have just a crazy amount of talent, I don't think that you can really achieve what you're supposed to achieve. That trust level was always probably the biggest thing between me and my players. They had to trust me, I had to trust them, and if I couldn't trust them, I couldn't put them on the court.
So as some of us know, you were one of the most winningest coach, not the most winningest coach, but what were some of the hardest parts of doing that?
Just the grind, the everyday. We just never stopped. And that was part of just my mindset of I was going to do whatever I had to make sure that we were winning. And I expected that out of my kids too. So they had to come to stuff. They had to be there. But at the same time, you know, it made it worth it in the end, because we knew that we put everything out there and that we were going to give it our best no matter what.
Where's the farthest you went as a coach?
As a coach was state playoffs. So we went to the state playoffs 2 times. Unfortunately, we played the same team both years, and both times they had I want to say 2, 3, 4 D1 players on their team. So it was a school that recruits a lot. Doesn't mean that I didn't think
What
we could
team
beat
was
them. Plymouth White Marsh. So doesn't mean that I didn't think we could beat them. I thought we could beat them both times, but we had to pretty much play perfect to beat them, and we didn't. It's not that we didn't play hard or that we didn't play well. They were just better than us, and that happens.
Did you coach anywhere else other than Lebanon, or just here?
I coached 1 year at Allentown Deer girls basketball, but that was when I was student teaching. But otherwise, I've coached here for 20 years.
When did you start coaching?
I actually started coaching right when I dropped out of college. I came back. I'm sure you guys all know Coach Thompson. So he was the freshman coach at the time. And I dropped out of college, kind of didn't know what I wanted to do. Got hooked up with him, and I was coaching freshman basketball with him for a couple years. Then I went back to college, didn't coach for a couple years, and then as soon as I graduated, I started coaching again.
All right, last question. What's one thing you would want the world to know about being a Lebanon Cedar?
What's one thing I would want the world to know about being a Lebanon Cedar? Just that I'd say that it's inside you. That, you know, it's something to be proud of. It's something to, you know, that you're always going to be gritty. You're always going to be determined. You're always going to give your best. You know, and that's what I tried to convey to the kids, that when you put that jersey on, you're not putting it on just for yourself. You're putting it on for all the guys before that.
Yeah.
And I think that's important. I think that's important for kids to understand. Like, we always talked about past players. We always talked about the numbers up on the wall and the championships that were won. And anyone that I knew in any of those, I would always talk about those to my kids and try to get them to understand, like, hey, you're going to walk in this gym 20 years from now and you're going to look up there and be like, that's my number. Like, and that means something.
Thank you, Mr. Speraw, for your time and talking with us about Lebanon Cedars and your life with them. Stay tuned in our second episode when we talk with someone who's really important to the Lebanon basketball success.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Thank
See
you.
ya.
Thank you.